Hey, Jordan,
Yes, Scott.
how are you teaching your kids to pray?
Well, I model it very well and in prepped format. Therefore, I record myself on my iPhone giving a fantastic prayer of which I push play on my kid's nightstand and walk out and say, "Good night, honey."
Well done.
Yes, thank you.
Hey, everybody, I'm Scott Vermillion, and I am here with the remarkable bearded man, Jordan Gristy, and we're going to talk to you a little bit about spiritual practices for families. And so Jordan led the class this week on prayer and making this a spiritual formation for our family. So, Jordan, tell us a little bit about what you were leading us in when it comes to prayer. What was some of the things you were trying to emphasize?
Well, the thing that I was trying to mainly emphasize today was that it's really great for us to have all these different ways of praying, and you can always try to encourage people to pray. And I think that that's incredibly important. But today I really wanted us to figure out what are small incremental steps that we can take as a family unit to make prayer more a part of our lives. But the main point that I was having is that you really can't start with the what. You have to start with the why. And it says, why are we praying? And so we kind of asked ourselves and put on the board, why is it that we pray as individuals? What is it that we're looking for out of prayer? And we wrote many of those down, and then we kind of even asked, why do we want our kids to pray? And if we answer that question, in my mind, we had a goal in mind. We had something of a place to shoot for. So when we're making incremental steps, we're not just making steps for steps' sakes, we're making steps towards something. Because ultimately, if we can't answer the question of why we pray, we won't pray.
Right. And that is such an important point. I mean, the age-old adage, if you aim at nothing, you hit it 100% of the time.
Exactly.
And I think it's really easy, especially in church world, when we think about spiritual practices, that we get caught up in the doing, and we forget about the connection of we're doing this for a reason. And what were some of the reasons that people were coming up, like some of the whys for prayer? What were some of them?
I would say that there was a lot of them did rush to put in together, but gratitude was one that certainly came up. Was one of the first ones. An idea of connectedness, an idea of relationship, an idea of recentering yourself was certainly said over and over in many different ways. There was ideas of empathy. There was ideas of lamenting. I mean, there's a lot of reasons that people do. I mean, obviously, you need things. You want things, and you pray for those things as well. That was on there.
Yeah. And those are all exceptional, and I think it's important, that we connect with those, as we're teaching our little ones to pray. So tell me that now we have a little bit of a challenge when you're talking about infant to newborn, right? And really helping them understand the why. So what would be your coaching for folks who have infant to 2-year-olds and really helping them deal with it? Now, honey, this is how we're going to do the why of what we're praying.
It was interesting because we set up on okay, what do we do from newborn all the way to say age 8, because that was mostly the age group that we're in. And it really did kind of come out as we were talking about it. It was things that we're doing, not things that we're encouraging them to do. We're encouraging them to live and survive through this with us. But it was much more habitual. It was, how can we create habits? How can we create some expectation that, this is when we pray? In fact, Jeremy today had a great story. He has Noelle, his youngest, well, for now. She's just a little over 2, and he hadn't prayed with her for a while, and before they went to bed, and she kind of looked at him and said, pray, question mark. And he kind of realized that she had already grown that expectation from newborn to 2 years, that prayer is something that we do at this point in time. It is a habit that we have. And he kind of had dropped the ball and realized, oh, wow, my 2-year-old noticed. And that's kind of what we're trying to focus on, is getting that habit for that age group.
And I think having that healthy habit really does create expectation, because I don't know about for you, but when people pray for me, that's like, I love that. I love when people pray for me. And if our kids have any kind of experience like that, which I think they would, your mom and dad praying over you at night or dinner time or whatever, that's something you don't want to miss out on, you know, and they get that. Like, I need that special time, you know, I want that.
Yeah.
And so that's really cool that was downloaded. Was there any other thing that was helpful to the group as you were talking to them about really making this an integral part of their family life?
Again, I think it was to make it more integral, it was to put some intentionality to it. And it was saying, if gratitude is what we're seeking, if this is one of the goals, is kind of guiding kids in that prayer, is when they get to that age, is to be getting to ask them questions spread out in your prayer. It was the idea, one was, for empathy, was to grab pictures of Christmas cards that people had gotten previous during Christmas, and actually start going through those and say, do you want to pray for them? And do you want to pray for them? And putting a visual idea to it. That was a few things that was kind of easy to say, I can guide a child through that prayer and having a sense of gratitude for the things they have, and also looking outside themselves with an empathy. So there was many more examples, but it was really enlightening to see what had kind of worked for some people, and then others saying, well, that didn't really pan out the way I thought.
Right. Yeah, it's usually not the first idea, but maybe the next one, or a combination of things. So, well, this has been really great. Hey, this is just a start as we're thinking about making prayer a spiritual practice in our families. If you've got ideas, we'd love for you to write those in the comments, share them, because this is how we learn and this is how we grow. We'd love for you to be involved in this conversation. So if you've got ideas, we want to hear it. Thanks, Jordan, for stopping by and giving us a little recap on what you talked about this weekend. And we'll hit you up next week with the next installment of Spiritual Practices for Families. Take care, guys.
Thanks, guys.